cut them one more time.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, how are you? I hope you're fine today. I'm doing great. Had a little trouble getting here, but I'm here. And so today is Monday, January the 16th, 2 days after my birthday. I turned 78 2 days ago. I know I look a lot younger, but I am 78. Wishful thinking on my part. Okay, so we have the moon opposing Uranus astrologically, which means that some really creative ideas could be coming up in your meditation or your sleep, and some of those could be rough though, and some of them could be beautiful, but that's the way I see that, the revolutionary energy of Uranus in our subconscious activity. So relative to that, let's see what we get. Starting out great today, and you can blame Willow for this because she cut them. And I even dropped this when I was picking it up. Yeah. The devil, what does the devil mean? Well, it's defined by the Hebrew letter ayin, which means nothing, no thing, and it also means I, or the way you perceive something. So what that means is some of the things that you're experiencing, if they are radical and if they seem negative, you may want to change your perception a little bit. It's okay. The devil is only the devil if you perceive it that way. Something that seems diabolical or devilish in nature is perceived that way and sometimes isn't that way at all. One person's perception of an experience could be the devil. Another person's experience of the same perception of the same experience could be heavenly or great. And so it depends on your perception in terms of when you're labeling things as, quote, bad or the devil. But remember, in terms of redemption, this is the aspect of ourselves that we're trying to redeem. Okay? So it does bring up the aspect of personal redemption. And my opinion is that we're in the second coming, which has to do with each individual awakening to their own Christ consciousness and their own redeeming qualities. And so that's what this is suggesting too, that you may want to look at the way you're perceiving something and the way you register it as being good for you or bad for you. So we might come back to this one because it has some ramifications that might affect the rest of the reading, and so we'll see. Okay, this is what's going on now, this card. This is what's crossing you now. This is the Five of Cups, so this is the Scorpio card. It has to do with feelings of insecurity and maybe wondering about your own self-worth, and maybe even some abandonment issues related to the 3 cups that are spilled. Notice that 2 cups are behind him, or the good quality of an experience could be behind him or her, that the person's not paying attention to it. Once again, it's perspective. The truth is we cannot be abandoned, but it sure feels like it at times. And so this is the time of the year when that actually could be activating for a lot of people, because we just finished Christmas, we're going into a new year, you're releasing your attachment to 2022, you're trying to adjust to the reality of 2023, whatever that reality is. And so it could bring up some issues around, who am I? Am I doing the right thing? Am I good enough to fulfill the destiny that I've set for myself this year? That sort of thing. And it also can put a question mark in terms of your own spiritual development and your spiritual relationship that you have with yourself. And I keep saying this is a Kabbalistic principle, but we all think that we're human beings, and the truth is we're spiritual beings. Not only spiritual beings, but eternal spiritual beings. And so that's where immortality comes into play here. So anyway, back to the Scorpio card, some things that happen are bad, but even those we have to find the good in it, the jewel in it, so that we can make it right. Okay, beneath us, and when I say beneath us, I mean this is what's going on with you subconsciously, and this is the Magician card. The Magician card is the Hebrew letter Bet, which means Baraha, life is always a blessing. But that doesn't mean that you see the blessing in everything. Sometimes, like bad things happen. I think of Germany and what all took place there. But as a student of spiritual awakening, you must find the blessing in every experience. Sometimes it's like searching for a diamond in a big barn full of hay. But still, that's our objective in terms of spiritual awakening. If you can't get past the negative patterns, it will hold you back in terms of your spiritual awakening. And my sense is that this whole thing coming from the devil has to do with awakening to your true nature and who you really are. And that requires the Magician. The Magician is self-conscious, focused attention. And it's the intelligence of life and death. If you're focused on something and you hold your attention on it, you're alive to that experience. Something else that might be important, if you don't have your attention on it or you don't know it, then you're dead to that experience. It doesn't exist for you. And so magic is about focusing your attention appropriately and being alive with your consciousness as you're focused. And so the Magician has a garden here. He's receiving, or she's receiving, wisdom, we'll say the primal will of God from above, and it's projecting it into the garden of subconsciousness, which has roses, which represents the five senses, the subconscious mind, wisdom, the subconscious mind, inner sensorium, and desire nature. And the lilies represent the self-conscious mind, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. And so that's what the spiritual aspect is unfolding for each of us. The wisdom of subconsciousness and the wisdom of consciousness, and how to develop both and bring them together. The garden represents the subconscious mind, and the magician himself or herself represents the conscious mind. And the way you focus your attention, it's all about focusing. And magic, my friends, has to do with focused attention. When you change one state of consciousness to another state, you must have focused attention to direct the process. And since this is the school of magic, that's one of the foundations of principles that we live by, is how to work in these spiritual systems, taking your energy from one level of consciousness and helping you to evolve and transform into another level of understanding and comprehension. The lower brain picks up lower frequencies. The higher brain picks up higher frequencies. What that means is the lower brain is connected to earthly experiences, friends, and so on and so forth. The higher brain, the spiritual brain, is connected to angels, masters, adepts, and that sort of thing. That's all in this card. This is subconscious, which means we're talking about focused attention, that is consciousness. And what that means is what's going on subconsciously, or when you're dreaming, you want to convert that into conscious awareness. And that changes the state of understanding of what you're experiencing into another state of awareness. Okay, next card is the card that is of the past. It's behind us. It has to do with things that have already happened that are affecting what's going on now. And this is the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles represents, is the second decan of Capricorn, and the third decan of Capricorn, which is the last 10 days of Capricorn. But it has to do with the way you establish your patterns of living, how you structure your life, how it has a Saturn influence of consistent disciplined sort of behavior. And I'm not saying that you should become more disciplined. I'm saying that you want to look at how you're setting up your world, and if discipline is necessary, then you apply it. Otherwise, you flow. Okay? And even with discipline, you flow from one thing to the next. But this is a card of monetary reward as well. It's like ordering your world in a way where you get the result of the outcome that you want. This has already happened, so it means you have established some order in your life at one time. And if it's from the past and affecting you now, it means that there are some negative patterns that you may be dealing with that's causing you to think, well, have I really done that? Or can I do that again? Well, yes, you can, because it's something that's part of your nature. It's in your DNA. You've already done it. And so worrying about, am I okay? Worrying about, am I doing the right thing? Has to be evaluated in a deep way, and sometimes let go of it, or shift it, or change it, or say it's okay. Okay? This is also about not only structuring your world, but loving yourself for who you are. If you lose your consistency in the structure. And so what's going on here in this card and the Devil card is some questioning of, am I really doing the right thing? Am I actually, and am I worthy of doing it? Like feeling alone and wondering if you're going to get support and that sort of thing. And what this is saying here is that you've already got that covered. You're okay. This is just a habit, we'll say a negative pattern that you're used to experiencing, and it's going to come up every time. You override it. Okay, the Moon. This is the Moon card, and the Moon has to do with your patterns that are much deeper than you are aware of. And you will get this in your dream, like the moon comes out at night when we dream. It facilitates our dreaming process. And the moon right now, for example, is in opposition to Uranus, which means it can be offset by some of your patterns that you have developed, but it doesn't mean they're wrong. It just means that they're in question at this point, and you have to look at the overall picture of what you're trying to accomplish. And you'll notice in this Moon card there's all these rays coming from the moon. This means that you are being inundated with consistent and powerful information related to who you are and how you do things, okay? And what it's saying, though, is that you're on this path and that you could be progressing beyond these two towers, which represent the present evolution of humanity. And so you may be moving into some arenas where you don't have a lot of feedback in terms of how well am I doing here, because you have less connection with people who are at the same level. And so in Paonia, we do have a plethora of higher beings, but you kind of have to find them. that can give you some support. And also this has to do with meditation or going into trance states like you do when you go to sleep at night. And in meditation, retrieving information about what you're doing, the consistency of it, the way you schedule your time, your disciplined or undisciplined way of doing things. And this card doesn't say you should become disciplined. It's saying you should just look at it and do what you think's right. Okay? But it does emphasize the fact that things are going on subconsciously for you that you may want to bring up to the surface to deal with. Or otherwise, the subconscious activity can affect you in both negative and positive ways, but you feel out of control. The whole thing in psychotherapy and shamanistic journeying and doing magic work is to get clearer about who you are and how you can use what you have to do what you want to do. And so the moon card has to do with meditation, sleeping, and trying to register the interpretive aspects of dreams and what the dreams are telling you, what information that they're trying to project in your imagery. This is in a position where it's going to be coming into being in the next 2 or 3 months. And so what that means is that there's going to be some subconscious activation of frequencies that may be even unfamiliar to you, that you may want to look at a little closer, get some opinions on, and see how it supports you. If something feels like it's holding you back, restructure it in a way where it supports you and helps you to do what you want to do. There's nothing holding us back unless we think it is. Some things do feel like they're holding us back at times, but actually they're actually trying to get us, if they're subconscious, trying to get us to the point where we can accomplish what we need to accomplish. The next card is, we'll say the next maybe 6 months into 2023, and the card is the Judgment card. Okay, and this is the angel Gabriel, the angel of the west, of water, and the planet the moon, which is up here. And so what this is saying is that this angel could actually be working with you. And if this angel is working with you, you could be hearing a high-pitched frequency in your ears. You notice this trumpet that this angel is blowing, and there's 7 notes coming out the end of the horn, which is a balancing and a tuning and aligning of your chakras. And that's what's going on with this high-pitched frequency in your ears. You could safely say that God is talking to you. I know if you go to the doctor, you'll get another diagnosis for that same thing. But I always say, be practical when you're talking to the doctor. They have protocols and they know a lot. They're very intelligent. I was going to start saying they're not stupid, but the truth is we're all intelligent and we're all stupid in some way. So that's just the way it is, including myself. I tell people all the time this is the Kabbalistic principle. Yes, I am very, very intelligent, but you know what? I am stupid too. I'm also beautiful, but I'm also ugly. Oh, no. We're everything. We have to admit it. Okay, but Gabrielle now is another thing. The judgment aspect of this comes from the fact that you may be dealing with some things in your life over the next 6 months where you sort of have a critical writer that's with you, that's really observant of what you're doing, and it can be critical at times. You want to work with this. You want to meditate on it, find out where it came from, It could be a critical writer. It could be a family legacy. It could be something you develop with friends, but it's never true. It's just a developed habit that we pick up. And you're judging the quality of that habit. That's what the judgment means. Am I doing it right or am I doing it wrong? If you're critical, you could say, well, it seems like I'm doing it wrong. Reverse it. No, I'm doing it right. It may seem wrong, but it's going to turn out right. This is about trusting your intuition. If you get a voice that tells you to say, I'm going to do my business this way, or I'm going to do my spiritual work this way, do it. You may come to a point where it doesn't feel quite right or exactly what you should be doing, but it doesn't make any difference, because there's, in the long run, what you're receiving in intuition is what you need to do. And so we have all of our personal quirks that we have to work with when we're spiritualizing and developing, we'll say, a spiritual lifestyle. When I say spiritual lifestyle, I mean whatever you need to work with: meditation, tuning your centers, spiritually speaking, working with ceremonial work to understand your relationship with spirit. All this is necessary for understanding and helping you to get a sort of a grip on not who I am as a physical being, but who I am spiritually. And so that's sort of the judgment here. And the judgment is not a bad thing. Everyone thinks of the statement, oh, judgment day is here and I'm going to be judged. And yes, it's true, but guess who's judging you? Yourself. I mean, God isn't up there. He doesn't have time to judge everybody, you know. We're doing it ourselves. And if you want to say, well, I'm God, you're correct there, but only in part. You don't have all the information to round the whole thing out yet, obviously, or you wouldn't be dealing with this. And we're all dealing with this at some level. We judge ourselves every day for something that we did or did not do right. And so, but you're working with Gabriel, and I say in your meditation, if you feel like this is part of your intuitive process, interact with this angel. This angel will help you understand the true judgment part of living. Okay? So this is coming in the next few months, and it has to do with your own spiritual evolution and a very, very powerful link up with sound vibration that can, if you can meditate on this high frequency, use it as your mantra, you will start getting words or information intuitively for what this sound vibration is saying or means to you. And the most important part of working with Gabriel is that, I said he was the angel of water, is learning to flow with things, the ups and the downs. The spiritual world, as we know it, is a little like the physical plane world we're living in that it's sort of undulating. It has high highs and low lows, more so than the physical reality. And so when you're low, you need to be careful about what you're thinking, what you're feeling. And it's showing from the devil card that we could be dealing with some low, maybe depressive energy. And I want to say for Paonia, it's been snowing. Almost every day. We get the sun every once in a while, but this has been the sort of darkest winter that I've seen in 30 years, and probably longer than that. And so this depressed sort of state of mind is with us, kind of. But to me, it's just a test for you to overpower it, for you to coordinate with it and work with it in a way where you come out positive. The world is neither positive or negative. We make it that way. Okay, going into the future here. And each one of the positions will reflect a different aspect of your future. Like the first one has to do with maybe what you're afraid of in the future of happening. And it's the Ace of Cups, which is a great card. And the first thing I'd say about this is that there's a possibility you may be afraid of success, because this is success, spiritually speaking. The cup is running over with 5 streams of water or love vibration, and it really supports your relationship that you're in with your loved one, your husband, your wife, so on and so forth. And because of the dove, which is Christ consciousness, as well as the higher love frequency called Ahava in Hebrew, straight from the top of the sphere on the tree, which is Kether, which is the first expression of God. And what this is saying is that you are actually experiencing in your relationship a heavenly vibration that is the best of the best. Of course, in a fear place, it's like the best of the best could make me feel like something's wrong. No, it's exactly right. Even if it's bad, it's right, but you have to convert the bad into the good. That's part of what the devil is saying. Okay, so love, my friend, is the name of this card. Loving vibration, heavenly frequency. You're doing the right thing, and yes, you're being showered with the best of the best, and so that can be scary. You know, like the first thing you want to think of is, okay, tomorrow's going to be bad because today is good. No, tomorrow's going to be better. That's simple. You know, it's what you believe is going to happen happens. You produce it. Like I do Qigong every day, and I need the sun to do the Qigong because I do sun bathing and sun connecting energies, and every day, and including today, which is totally cloudy now, when I went out and did my sun work, the sun came out. And I'm like, right on. And so don't be afraid of being beautiful or being good or even better. Let it be. And accept the fact that you are beautiful. You're wonderful. And you have lots of love to give and lots of love to receive. That's this card. You want to take this one home, by the way, even though it's in a scary place. But think about it. Love is scary. Love can be hard. I have 9 children. It's hard. They're all scattered out. They're all doing beautiful things. My son Evan, my son Kaya, my son Aaron. They're doing beautiful things, but doesn't mean they understand all that. And so, yeah, this is the best of the best. Share your love, be in it, share it with other people. Tell everyone you love them because they need it and you need to tell them that. And it's the fastest way to connect with the Christ consciousness. Oh boy, you guys are getting them today. We got the devil, we got the magician, we got the judgment card, we got the moon card. Now we have the hanged man, which is the Hebrew letter mem, the root of water. And both of these cards, several of these cards are related to water, which means going with the flow, which means when things are happening, to go with them and figure out later what it's all about. Okay, so what is the hangman? The hangman is related to the idea of shifting your consciousness, reversing your consciousness from believing in the world of form or the physical plane, converting that into believing in the spirit world. He or she has reversed their consciousness, and look at the head, spiritual enlightenment. This being is a high master, a greater adept, they call it, who is positioned in a way that their higher mind, their spiritual mind, is aligned with the spiritual plane. And these supernal beings, angels, adepts, elders, masters, are available, their thought processing, their energy form, their consciousness is available in our higher spiritual brain. Okay, this person has reversed his or her consciousness from the lower mind to the higher mind, and thus is receiving the will of God through higher beings, through angels, we'll say, and projecting, since he's upside down, projecting it downward into the physical plane of consciousness where it's needed. Okay, in other words, he's receiving or she's receiving the word of God and shares it in activities, work, spiritual work with others, helping them to understand as well that the physical plane is actually nothing more than a projection of spiritual energy. Just like our physical bodies, we think are material physical form, 98% air. Okay? Truth. In truth, the air itself around us could be more solid than us. It has microscopic particles of light and so on and so forth that we can't see, and we're kind of walking through this form and we think we're just walking through nothing. We're probably more nothing than the air around us, is my point. Okay, so that's the message of the hanged man, is that yes, we are spiritual beings, we live in a spiritual world, and guess what? The physical form is only a part of that, and as a result of spiritual influences. And so in the Kabbalah, the personality in the physical body is seen as like a little tornado with energy coming in all the time, swirling through you and going out. And so we're like a moving energy consciousness constantly swirling around us, but we're held together with a central focus of spirit. That's what holds our physical body together. So we're more spiritual than we are physical, but it just doesn't seem that way. The way you perceive it, what you see is not always what you get. In the spirit world, you must begin to see deeper. When you become more spiritual, you must look for and concentrate on the essence or the source of the thing that you're meditating on. Then you will get the inner workings of the true nature, the divine essence of, let's say, this table. I will begin to understand who made it, who put it together, where it came from originally, the original design of the table for whatever it was for. That's the spiritual essence. It's much, much bigger and much more profound than just a physical table. And yes, and consequently, the ability to levitate things has to do with your ability to enter that thing and become a part of it, understand it completely, and then, like the witches say to the table, now table, you're alive, walk. Guess what it does? I'm not going to show you how to do that, but because
next class.
Yeah, next class. Okay, next card. It is the King of Pentacles. And this, we'll say, could be in the fall of this year. And this is very, very strong. Anytime you get a king or a queen, you're getting strong gender energy. The king is strong male energy. The queen, of course, is strong female energy. Okay, so, and then the King of Pentacles means that this is energy for the physical plane, understanding it, but having an effect on it. And this is called the completed work, which means, let's say you have some dreams that you want to fulfill this year. You're gonna fulfill them. You're gonna complete them. And what you need to do is just fill in the gaps in between, like how do we get there? But when you get the King of Pentacles, it means you are awakening to your true source of completion, your true source of energy that will fulfill within the activity that you're working in what you want to accomplish. And so this is the catalyst is taking you into the future. And what this means is you're approaching your destiny. You could be in it now, and fulfilling your destiny will fulfill your life's purpose. This could be the year for you to do this. Okay. Now, understanding what that is comes with time and practical application of what you think you should be doing, what you think is right for you to do in terms of destiny. And I want to say that destiny is defined by the movement of the planets, by the way. I'm not saying that we don't define it too, but the influence from these higher celestial influences has an effect on who we are and where we're going. So, aligning your information with the movement of the planets helps in the understanding of what this destiny is about and how to complete your work. And so this particular card is about doing that, and it sort of suggests to you that you want to look at some of your influences astrologically, like we're in the astrological aspect of Capricorn, which has to do with Saturn influence, and the basic idea of some of the things I'm talking about here. And by the way, Capricorn is the devil card, okay? And it has to do with some of the things I'm talking about in terms of getting clear about who you are, what you want to do, and what your true destiny is, okay? One more card, the outcome. How are we doing on time?
Good.
Okay. Wow, you guys are getting it today. This is the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups is a great card. The outcome is perfection. The outcome is happiness. The great American dream, a family with land and a river flowing through the land, a farm, and 2 children dancing, and 10 cups in a rainbow, okay? And so this card has to do with all these good things, but it has to do with a purification process too that you go through in terms of looking at who you are and some of the things that you need to do, we'll say, with your destiny, with your accomplishments this year, and how to do them, and to let go of some of the patterns that are sabotaging you or holding you back. And so this has to do with the development of your senses in a way, your feeling, your seeing, your hearing, to a higher pitch where you don't miss much. You actually are focusing in on everything and using your senses to accurately predict and get a perfect sort of understanding of what's happening and why things are happening. So you have to go deeper. But what this is saying is you're going to be successful anyway. That your life is about to get good this year, and this could be the best year ever. The Great American Dream is nothing more than a dream that we all have, let's say, that we could call the American Dream, but it's success. It's almost everything I'm saying is that you may perceive yourself as being a failure when actually you're not, that you're successful. And this is implying back here that you could be a little bit afraid of success. Too much love, it's overwhelming. This is more love. That's 1 cup. This is 10 cups. This not only this not only means a lot of love. It means you've cycled through one level of experiencing what you want to accomplish, your connection with your loved ones, your family, so on and so forth, and you're going to a higher level, the number 10, 1 and 0. You're going to a higher level of participating in that process, and that it's almost like you're graduating to a higher frequency. You're moving up 8 scales on the musical scale, 1 octave, 1 frequency from physical form to spirit, and that's success. But I'm not saying that everything that you're experiencing will seem successful, however, but it's up to you to make them that way. Okay? So, in all of this, I would sum it up by saying that you focus your attention right, you're going to be very successful this year. Monetarily, the area of love, receiving it, giving it, happy family, and the power of the king in terms of, and it's related to physical plane things, the power of the king to act out and do what you need to do, and you're in a very strong place for doing it. You have the background, the support from past experiences supporting you in doing this. So, I love you very much. Thank you for listening, and I hope this has given you some insight. If you have any questions, call Willow.
Or message us. Message us right there on YouTube, and we'll get back to you.
So you have a good week, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.